Hi, I'm Keshia Davis. I am from Denise's Delicacies in Philadelphia. And my store has been there for about 30 years. I'm not Denise. Denise is my aunt. So Denise started the business about 30 years ago, baking out of her home, working a full-time job in corporate America, and she decided she wanted to share her passion with everyone and opened Denise's in North Philly. So she has since retired, and me and my sister, we have taken over the business, and we're making sure that we deliver that same good quality goodness to the community of Philadelphia and beyond. So we're here to share some of our recipes with you. And so today we're going to make some very simple things that you can do in your own home with some very simple ingredients and some things that are pretty cost effective and easy to do. So first we're going to make a pecan pie. Then we're going to make one of my childhood favorites, which is a lemon cake pie, and then chocolate ganache that we're gonna make and put on just about everything. So can't wait to get started and show you what we can do. Okay, so we are going to make one of my favorites. It's a very simple yet decadent pecan pie. I mentioned my Aunt Denise. This was one of her favorites too. When she was baking in her home, she said, you know what? It was so easy. I would bake it at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning before I went to bed and had to get up and go to work. So I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is. We have very simple ingredients. We have 1.5 cups of pecans, 1 cup of light brown sugar, not the dark brown sugar. That'll give it a lighter texture. 2 tablespoons of melted butter, melted salted butter. And then we have 1 cup of Karo syrup, and that's the light corn syrup and not the dark corn syrup. Again, we're going for a lighter texture. And then we have 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 3 eggs. And so this recipe, first we'll start with pouring all of our ingredients together into the bowl. So we'll start with the eggs. My cup of corn syrup. My vanilla extract. The melted butter, this is what's going to make it so good. And the brown sugar. Okay. Then you'll let it stir. On a low speed. A minute to 30 seconds, 30 seconds to a minute, that's all you need. And we'll line our ready-made pie shell in a 9-inch pan. Now you can make your own pie dough, or you can just go to the supermarket and buy pie dough already together. They make it really easy for you to make a quick pie. Looks like our ingredients are already mixed together. So your consistency is going to be a nice, rich, syrupy mixture. And we'll put the pecans on the bottom of the pie shell. And as they are cooking or baking, as this pie is baking, your pecans will rise to the top. So you don't have to worry about mixing the pecans into the mix. Now, I know I'm saying pecans and some people say pecans. My aunt says pecans, my mom says pecans. I say both, mostly pecans. Okay, so we have our pie and our mixture ready to go. And we're gonna put it in our oven for about 50 minutes on 350. Now, one thing to note about the pecans, they may burn somewhere around 40-45 minutes. It's okay if you see them browning before the pie is done to cover it in some parchment. So we may check on our pecan pie a little later just to see. Our pie is just about ready. It's been baking for about 50 minutes, so it's just about done. So I'm going to check on it, but I believe it's ready to come out. Oh yes, oh boy. And it smells awesome. I can just smell the butter in this pie. So one of the things that you can do with your finished pie is take some of that Karo syrup that you have left over and brush the sides of the crust. I'm making a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. It's going to be a ooey gooey good mess once we get to slicing it. And so that'll shine your pecans up and your pie crust. You'll want to let this cool for about 15-20 minutes before you take your first slice. And so now we'll move on to our lemon cake pie. Can't wait to show you that. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're about to make one of my favorite pies from being a child. So Aunt Denise used to do a lot of expos and a lot of pop-up shops or just some samplings and tastings, and this lemon cake pie was always on the table. And so she would wonder why it would run out so quickly, and she thought it was like super popular, because it was. But most of the time I was just kind of running back to the table, taking all the samples because I love this pie so much. And so this is a really simple, easy pie for you to make. Very simple ingredients. You just need zest from, I would say, 3 to 4 nice sized lemons. And my recommendation for your lemons is make sure they're, if you can, make sure they have more of a rougher skin than the smooth skin. It'll be easier for you to get the zest when you're grating your lemons. With those lemons, you are going to have 2/3 of the lemon juice. Now, you'll juice your lemons, whatever's remaining juice from your lemons. If it doesn't make 2/3, it's fine, just get some lemon juice and then you can make up the 2/3 there. We're going to separate 3 eggs. So I have 3 eggs for the egg whites here, and then I have my egg yolk. And then I have 1/8 of table salt and a 1.5 cups of sugar, a cup of milk, and a cup of flour. That's it. Pretty simple. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pour our egg whites into a mixer, and in a separate bowl, we're going to mix our egg yolks and the lemon and everything else. But first, we're going to whip up our egg whites, and we're going to whip them until they are fluffy. They kind of have a peak and they're very smooth. If you've ever made meringue before, this is how you make meringue. But to do this, instead of a regular paddle, we're going to use a whisk. So the best way to do this and the quickest way to do this is to turn your mixer on to a very high speed. And let the mixer do the work. Now, I'll be right back to get a bowl for the other ingredients. Welcome back. Okay, so we're gonna check our egg whites. And what we're looking for is for the egg whites to have a soft peak when we lift the bowl or when we lower the bowl. And they are just about right. And you're gonna find that a lot of your egg whites are still in the whisk. So just need to give it a little shake to make sure that your egg whites are out. Now what we're gonna do is set this bowl aside. We will come back to it. And now we'll work with our egg yolks, the lemon, and all the other goodness that goes into this pie. For this mix, we'll use the paddle. There we go. Okay, so what we'll do now is put in our lemon juice. Lemon zest. And our egg yolks. And let's get a spatula. There we go. I want to get all those egg yolks there. Okay. Eggs are expensive, so we want to get every little drop of those eggs, okay? And so you'll mix this until they're mixed together. So that can be done on a lower speed, maybe 3 or 4. So we'll raise our mixer. That's looking pretty good to me. All right, and then we'll just add our salt, which was our 1/8 of a teaspoon, our cup of milk, our flour. Now I didn't mention that you can use all-purpose flour or cake flour. Cake flour gives the texture a little bit more of a lighter, fluffier texture on top of the cake. And here's our sugar, 1.5 cups of sugar. Okay. So we'll let this run until it's all mixed together. Again, on about 3 or 4 speed. Now I'm going to stop the mixer just for a little bit, and I'm going to scrape the bowl down on the sides just to make sure none of the flour is on the side. And I still see some lumps in there. So I'm going to give it a good mix some more, probably about another minute or so. Now this looks like it's just about done. Looks great, actually. We got all our ingredients in there mixed up pretty good. Okay, now remember when we tucked our whites aside, we're going to now put our egg yolk and flour and sugar, that mixture, we're going to fold it into the egg whites. In fact, instead of just folding it, we're going to put it back on the mixer. This time using the paddle. All right. And we'll just mix this on a low speed until it's all mixed together. Okay, and that literally took about 20 seconds. So you don't want to mix it too much because we don't want to deflate the egg whites. Easiest part, pouring it in your pie shell, which again could be ready-made. Oh yeah. Your oven should be preheated to 350. All right, so we're gonna put this pie in the oven for 350. Now, be very careful. It's gonna be a little soupy. So if you're like me, you're a little clumsy, you may spill some, but that's okay, that's all the goodness. So we'll head to the oven now. Welcome back. Now we're going to make one of the simplest, easiest ways to kick your dessert up a notch. We're gonna make chocolate ganache, and I call this the hot sauce of dessert. You can literally put this on anything and make it super decadent, super delicious. Only 3 ingredients. So we have 2 cups of chocolate chips, a cup of heavy cream, and a half a cup of salted butter. And so a half a cup, as you may know, is just a stick of butter. So let me talk about each of these ingredients for a moment. The chocolate chips. Now here I have just the semi-sweet chocolate chip morsels, or you can go even richer. If you want a deeper, darker chocolate, you can go with the 60% cocoa chips if you'd like. The semi-sweet does add a little bit of sweetness. If you want the chocolate ganache to be a little richer, then you want to make sure too that the heavy cream is 30 to 40% fat, so that'll give you a nice, good, rich texture. And then you may find that some chocolate ganache recipes only have the cream and the cocoa or the chocolate chips. The butter is what adds the decadence. So the butter is what adds the richness. So then you may also find that some folks like to add sweetness by adding some sugar or some corn syrup. That actually changes the texture of your chocolate ganache. So my recommendation is, if you like it a little sweeter, then get the semi-sweet cocoa or the semi-sweet chocolate chips rather than the 60% cocoa. So we have our double boiler here. This is going to be so simple. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to have our butter, and we're going to put it in our boiler saucepan, double boiler saucepan, and we're going to let that butter melt down really good. But we don't want to burn the butter. So the purpose of not just putting this right onto the stove is because you don't want to burn your butter, you don't want to burn your cream or the chocolate. So I'm going to help it along here, and as soon as this starts to turn liquid, I'll add my cream. So our butter's almost melted in there. Now we'll add our cream. And I don't like wasting ingredients, so we're going to get all of that cream in there. Now this time we're going to use our whisk to mix that butter and cream together. And you just want to make sure that it's one mixture. The butter's fully mixed in there. That's it, about 20 seconds. Okay. And now we add the chocolate. Okay, so this will take maybe a few minutes for you to mix it all in together. In fact, before I start whisking, I'll use my spatula to really get it in the middle. Kind of get a head start on the mixing. So this is coming out very smooth. Again, you're just going to keep whisking until all of the butter and the cream, they're all mixed together, and you have this smooth, chocolatey sauce that you can put on just about anything. It's done. So it's just that fast. 3 ingredients, chocolatey goodness, it's done. So let's see what we can put it on. I've got some ganache. Now, so here's the thing. You will want your ganache to sit maybe about 10, 15 minutes before you can even use it. And people ask, how long can it sit out? It can sit out a day or two because it has that cream, because it has the butter. You do want to put it in the refrigerator after that. And then it can stay about maybe even a month, okay? If you want to heat it back up, put it in the microwave, 30 seconds, that's all you need. And then you'll have ganache that's ready to pour. So I've got some things that I like to pour ganache on. So I've got some cheesecake. Get it on there. Oh my God. Do y'all see that? That is good. Okay. Some pound cake maybe. So maybe you don't want to make an icing. You want something light, but you still want something decadent. Get that ganache on there and give it a nice pour. Look at that. I might be making a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. Perfect on this pound cake. Or you've got some brownies. Put the ganache on there. Oh my gosh. You see how that just kicks it up a notch or 2 or 10? I'm gonna just put the ganache on the strawberries. Why not? Easy. So, easy way to kick up your dessert with chocolate ganache. So we've got our lemon cake pie right out of the oven. It's been baking for approximately 40 minutes. It is nice and firm, so it's not jiggly. And it'll be ready to cut in about 15, 20 minutes, and it will be perfect. So to sum up what we've done today, we've got our pecan pie and our chocolate ganache that we've poured on just about everything. I'm going to probably pour it on the pecan pie when we're done. But the cheesecake and the brownies and the strawberries and the pound cake, we've poured that chocolate ganache on everything. So if you want to see more, please make sure you follow me at Cakes by Denise's on Instagram or at cakesbydenises.com online, or come to our store in Philly at 2916 North 22nd Street at Denise's Delicacies. Love to see you. Can't wait to see you soon.